Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CCISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Continuous monitoring is a core function of any modern information security program. Its purpose is to provide real-time visibility into how well security controls are operating and how risk is evolving across systems and environments. Unlike point-in-time assessments, which provide a snapshot of control effectiveness, continuous monitoring offers ongoing assurance that controls remain active, properly configured, and responsive to change. Through this continuous visibility, organizations can detect failures, misconfigurations, or policy violations as they occur. This allows for faster remediation and reduces the window of exposure. Continuous monitoring also supports compliance by maintaining an auditable trail of control operation and changes. For high-risk environments or regulatory obligations, continuous monitoring often replaces traditional audit cycles by providing live evidence of control status. At the executive level, continuous monitoring empowers proactive risk management and better-informed decision-making. The CISO must ensure that continuous monitoring is embedded into the security program, aligned with strategic goals, and designed to support cross-functional visibility. An effective continuous monitoring program starts with defining a clear scope. This includes identifying which systems, controls, and data sources will be monitored. Scope must be aligned with critical business processes, compliance requirements, and high-risk assets. The program also requires automated data collection and alerting mechanisms. Manual monitoring is too slow and resource-intensive to scale effectively. Integration with existing tools such as SIEM platforms, GRC systems, and endpoint control solutions helps ensure that monitoring efforts are comprehensive and coordinated. To guide response, the program must include defined metrics and alert thresholds that indicate when controls are underperforming or failing. Roles and responsibilities must be clearly assigned. Security analysts, control owners, system administrators, and compliance leads must understand how alerts are handled, how escalation works, and what reporting expectations are in place. A mature program will include structured reporting channels, defined workflows, and governance oversight to ensure monitoring results translate into corrective action. Monitoring technical controls is a foundational element of continuous monitoring. This includes validating the operation of access controls, verifying that firewall configurations are correct, and tracking the timeliness of patch deployments. Endpoint detection and response tools offer visibility into system-level activity and help detect malicious behavior or control circumvention. Configuration management baselines, such as those defined by CIS benchmarks or internal hardening guidelines, must be actively checked for drift or inconsistency. Any deviation from the approved baseline is an indicator of potential risk. Behavioral analysis can detect anomalies in user or system activity, flagging potential insider threats, compromised accounts, or misuse. Equally important is verifying that logging itself is functioning as expected. If control logs are not collected, stored, or analyzed correctly, the organization loses the ability to detect or respond to issues in a timely fashion. Continuous monitoring must confirm not only control effectiveness, but the integrity of the monitoring infrastructure itself. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity, and more at baremetalcyber.com. Administrative and procedural controls also require monitoring, though in different ways. Policy acknowledgements, training completion rates, and procedural adherence are examples of administrative controls that must be tracked. Monitoring ensures that employees are fulfilling their responsibilities and that mandated activities are actually occurring. Service-level agreements, approval processes, and change control procedures are also subject to monitoring. These are often tracked through workflow systems or GRC platforms. If approvals are bypassed or delayed, the risk of unvalidated change increases. Documentation monitoring ensures that policies and process documents are reviewed and updated regularly. Exceptions and manual overrides must be tracked to ensure they do not become permanent workarounds. These administrative controls may not be as visible as technical controls, but they are critical for sustaining long-term security and governance. Effective continuous monitoring ensures that these controls remain in force and that deviations are escalated. The ability to define meaningful metrics and thresholds is what transforms monitoring into a decision-making tool. Metrics must reflect control health, performance, and degradation. These include indicators such as control uptime, alert frequency, or time since last test. Thresholds must be defined for when an alert should be generated. For instance, a failed login rate above a certain level may indicate a brute force attempt. Tolerances help distinguish between normal variance and true anomalies. Time to detect, time to respond, and resolution effectiveness metrics are particularly important. These indicators show not only when something went wrong, but how well the team handled it. Visualizations help surface trends and support forecasting. Dashboards that show performance against baselines or highlight increasing deviation help executives and analysts prioritize attention. By linking metrics to business and control objectives, monitoring becomes a strategic asset rather than a reactive mechanism. Automation and tool integration enable scalability and sustainability in continuous monitoring programs. Orchestration platforms can trigger automated responses based on alerts. For example, when a control fails a test, the system can automatically generate a ticket, notify the control owner, or initiate a corrective workflow. Integration with configuration management, identity and access management, and cloud security platforms ensures that control data flows across different environments. APIs allow monitoring tools to extract control status information from a wide range of systems. This is essential in hybrid and multi-coded environments where no single tool provides complete coverage. Automating compliance reporting and evidence collection reduces the burden on teams and ensures consistency. For critical controls, continuous testing, such as regular scan schedules, policy checks, or endpoint validation, helps confirm that controls remain operational and correctly configured even as the environment changes. Monitoring data must be organized into structured reporting and escalation processes. Dashboards tailored for operations teams, compliance functions, and executive leadership allow each group to focus on what is relevant to them. Alerts should be routed based on severity, risk impact, and the identity of the control owner. Escalation paths must be clearly defined and aligned with incident response and change control processes. For instance, a failed encryption control may require immediate escalation to both security operations and compliance leadership. Governance forums, such as risk and audit committees, must be briefed on monitoring results. Continuous monitoring enables real-time tracking of unresolved issues, identification of long-term trends, and planning for strategic remediation. By integrating findings into governance structures, monitoring becomes part of the security program's accountability and oversight mechanisms. A strong continuous monitoring program is deeply tied to risk and compliance activities. Monitoring results should be mapped directly to entries in the organization's risk register. If a control fails or shows signs of degradation, the associated risk must be reviewed and updated. Monitoring also ensures that compliance requirements are actively enforced rather than assumed. Real-time posture assessments can validate adherence to NIST NRMF, ISO 27111, PCI DSS, or industry-specific regulations. For contractual obligations such as service-level agreements or data protection requirements, monitoring offers assurance that obligations are being met. Auditors benefit from continuous monitoring because it provides current evidence of control operation. This reduces disruption during audit cycles and improves transparency. By aligning monitoring results with risk and compliance frameworks, the CISO ensures that the organization remains responsive and resilient in a fast-changing threat landscape. Despite its value, continuous monitoring presents challenges. One of the most common is data overload. Poorly tuned thresholds can create thousands of alerts, leading to fatigue and missed issues. Gaps in system visibility, especially in legacy environments or siloed platforms, reduce the effectiveness of monitoring. Limited resources can hinder timely response and analysis. Even if alerts are accurate, organizations may struggle to act quickly without the right staffing or workflows. Technical integration challenges also occur. Diverse platforms may use incompatible formats or lack APIs, making unified monitoring difficult. Finally, some parts of the organization may resist real-time scrutiny, especially if it reveals process failures or requires cultural change. The CISO must lead by building trust, demonstrating value, and ensuring that monitoring is seen as a support mechanism rather than a punitive system. On the CCISO exam, candidates should expect questions focused on monitoring terminology, tools, and executive responsibilities. Terms such as telemetry, thresholds, diagnostics, and alerting are critical. Scenario-based questions may involve control failure detection, escalation planning, or interpretation of monitoring dashboards. Candidates must understand how continuous monitoring supports audit preparation, risk management, compliance tracking, and governance visibility. The exam also tests the CISO's strategic role in building, leading, and improving monitoring programs that are sustainable, outcome-driven, and business-aligned. Candidates must be able to demonstrate how monitoring supports not only security operations, but also organizational resilience and executive decision-making. Mastery of this topic confirms the candidate's ability to build an adaptive, accountable, and transparent security program capable of thriving in complex environments. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal CyberSize CISO Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.